Hi, I'm Justin Fletcher, one of the two team members for BuildingBrain, and this is the tutorial video for project owners. So for the purpose of documentation and these tutorial videos, the term project owner is basically anyone who isn't a user of the simulation, anyone who works behind the scenes. So if you're the actual project owner, if you're just designing the simulation, or if you're doing the development and the coding, then this video is for you. The video is going to be split up into two parts. The first covering aspects of the simulation design, and the second for the development and code. I'll try to include a timestamp link in the description of the video so you can just skip ahead to the development if you want to do that. But for now, I'm going to start with the design aspect. So this is the basic house model that we have so far. The living room. Over here is the bedroom. Let me deselect the house so you can actually, yeah, there we go. All these gizmos. Yeah, and the kitchen. That's everything. This is the house from outside. All right, so let's try to set up an object in this environment to use some energy. So there are two ways you can add something. You can already have it here in the assets folders. Probably be under, if you're getting it from an outside source, we put our stuff in the Prefabs folder. So if you go to like the model, there's the model of the TV, and you would just drag it in here, and there it would be. But yeah, let's not do that. The other way to do it would be to just directly add an object to the scene of a primitive type. So okay, so here's the hierarchy. This is the house that represents the house that we're looking at. That's why everything is highlighted green right now. Ceilings, walls, and floors, bedroom objects, living room objects, kitchen objects. All right, we're in the kitchen. We want to make an object in the kitchen. So this is what I want to have selected. I want to right click on this, go to 3D object, and let's make a cube. All right, where is it? There it is. Can't really see it. Let me grab the move tool here. Move it over here. Let's put it on top of the kitchen counter there. And you can see when it's on top, when the green collider lines kind of disappear. So there it goes. Let's move it over here. And that's basically on top of the counter. Let's make it a little smaller. Oh. Alright. Alright. Now at first this is just a thing. It doesn't do anything. It's just going to sit there and look like a cube. So what we want to do is make it be able to consume energy. So to do that, we're going to add a script that we made. It's called energy using object, right? This is the one you want to add. So just highlight it, hit enter, and it adds a couple of different scripts automatically. This is the main one you want to worry about. Sorry, energy using object, right? Okay, so let's give it a name. It looks like a microwave. Okay, microwave. All right, description. I like nuked food. All right. Don't worry about these things yet. These have to do with performing tasks. Going to get into that a little later. All right, power supply. So this is how much energy it uses per second. So we're going to go ahead and say it's a microwave, so probably, I think, a lot. I don't know. Even though it's on for like maybe 2 minutes. So we're just going to put 10. 10 is a lot for the simulation. like a light. I think a lamp has like 0.2 or something. So it's not on by default. This is default states. It does have energy supplied, and here's where we plug it in to something, right? So we want to plug it in so that it has power, and we have to select from a list of plug loads that could be in the room. There is one in the room. It's right here in the hierarchy. Let me just go over there. There it is. It's kind of underground because I didn't want it to be visible in the house, but there it is. So I just keep it underground. So I'm going to go back to this cube here, cube. You want to click right over here in this little circle, and it's going to bring up the list of plug loads to select, and it's going to know that there's one in the scene already, and it's going to have it ready here, so you just click on it, and good. Now you're connected, right? And you can hit this disconnect button if you want. And then you'll see that when I click on this, it's going to highlight this here to show me that it's this. And if I go here, you'll see that all the connected objects has all these things, and at the end, check it out, cube 3. That's this cube that we made. All right, so let's go ahead and run it, see what happens. All right, so we're in the kitchen, looking around. Let's highlight the cube. It's not on by default, remember? All right, it's plugged in, which is why the button says unplugged. So we're going to go ahead and say to turn it on, and nothing happens. Turn it on. Oh, right, okay. So as you can see, if you look at the plug load, there's, again, nothing there. That's empty. Why is that? That's because we didn't apply the prefab. So when you do that, when you don't hit apply on the prefab, the values disappear when you hit play. So what we're going to do is do it all over again. Take this, hit disconnect, grab the plug load all over again. Bam. All right, go to the plug load. You can see it's there. Let me just delete this unnecessary one here. All right, and then I'm going to hit apply up here. That's going to save the changes to that. And then I'm also just to make this a sub prefab of the house prefab. Everything in blue is a prefab, and everything not in blue is not a prefab. Let me just go over that really quick. The reason we use prefabs instead of non-prefabs, the main reason is because if something's a prefab, then it exists here in your assets folder, right? So all these things are here. If I go to prefabs here, you can see, like, yeah, here's the whole house. I can go inside, see all the little things that are part of it, right? The plug load, the entire environment, this coffee table, and then all sorts of other things. So that if something, this scene is a scene file, it's this file. If something ever happens to this file, if I accidentally delete it, or it just gets corrupt somehow, all this stuff is gone. But the fact that they're all prefabs means that they're still in the assets folder, and I can just drag and drop them back. But if it's not a prefab, it's going to get lost with the scene, and then you just lost everything that you made. It's happened to me before. It's really annoying. Make your stuff prefabs. Saves you a lot of headache. The only other reason would be to, like, if you have two scenes, you can put the same prefab in both scenes, and then if you want to make changes to one, it'll be affected in both scenes. But we only have this one scene, so for all purposes of using prefabs here, we're doing it so we don't lose anything if anything happens to this scene file. All right, let's continue again. So now that I've applied the prefab of the house and the plug load again. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me hit apply here. Bam. And now you can see this cube is blue. All right. So now we're going to do this again. I'm going to run, select it, turn it on. There we go. All right, let's turn it off. Because that was on for a long time, huh? You see how fast the simulation's running up here. I got it at 600 times normal speed. So 1, 2, 3, all right. So this is using energy just fine. All right, so now say we want to clean up the kitchen. All right, we want to clean off this countertop here. So let's just go over here. I'm gonna grab this thing, pick it up, press the pickup button, move it over here, just throw that on the floor. All right, so let's do the same thing here. Press the pickup button. Hey, what the heck? Doesn't work. All right, well, guess what? There's another script we got to add. Just like we added the this script here, we got to add another script. So let's go to add component. And this script's name is interaction view is the one you want to add. All right, so you can see it added a couple of things. All right, hold on. It already has a box collider, right? And this box collider is what lets it collide with all the other surfaces. So that's the reason it's able to sit on this countertop, bump into walls, land on the floor, you name it. This sphere collider is not going to be used for any of that. This sphere collider is going to be used to test when you, the player, is within the radius of that sphere, right? So like, I'm going to make this really big. So now whenever the player gets into that radius, that means that yes, you can pick it up. Otherwise, you're not in the radius, you're too far away, you can't pick it up. All right, so we're going to make it about that big so we can go over there and grab it. Hit play. All right, so the sphere is working exactly the opposite of what we wanted, and that's for another reason. That's pretty funny, actually. All right, it's using the sphere to collide with surfaces. So what you want to do is always make sure that for the spheres where you want to get the radius of, like the player's position being in the sphere, you want to hit this is trigger. You want that to be set to true by default. Check means it's true. And by doing that, you're saying the sphere, don't try to collide with anything unless another collider enters this collider, right? So it's like a trigger. So it waits for that trigger of another collider entering, right? So let's do that really quick. All right, as you can see, it's not going all wacky with the surface there. All right, so now let's get over here and pick it up. There we go. Perfect. Put it over here. Kitchen. Grab this one. See if we can land it on top. Oh man. Just knock those around. Alright, I'm having way too much fun. Alright, so now we can clean our countertops. Anyway, if that was ever going to be a task. So now we have this microwave that can use energy, and you can pick it up and move it around. So this is just kind of the basics of putting stuff into this house however you want them. If you want them to be able to be picked up, you add that interaction view script. If you want them to use energy, you add that energy using object script. And that's the basics of just setting up scenes in the simulation. All right, so now we want to tell the user to actually do something, right? So we want to say like, hey, you have a job, take this microwave and put it on the coffee table, right? So one thing that was really important was that we would be able to have multiple versions of a simulation. Otherwise, the users would just be running through the same series of tasks over and over again. And if you ever wanted a different set of tasks, you'd have to hard code them. And then if you needed to change one of those, you'd have to open up the code again, look through it to whichever set of tasks you want to change, and edit their values. So we wanted a tool that allowed us to easily create different simulation templates easily without really ever needing to look at the code. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So to access that tool, it's up here in the menu bar, right? This top menu. I don't know how much, I'm using a Mac, so I don't know how much that differs if you're using Windows, but I don't think it's that much. So just go to the top menu and then under Simulation Maker, and then click on Simulation Task Timeline. And that's going to open up this window right here. And by default, it's not docked or anything. So you can just do that by dragging this tab, dragging it over here. There we go. Now it's docked, and we can switch between tabs. All right, so this is this task timeline, right? So this is your basic simulation length. Let's say the simulation is going to be, you plan it out to be 12 hours long, and over that course of 12 hours, you want to have all these tasks. All right, so you select which simulation you want, but right now there's just one. You can hit, let's create a new one actually. So create simulation. You will lose unsaved changes. All right, nothing's unsaved, it's okay. Continue. All right, so now you can see there's two simulations. I can go back, pick this one. All right, let's change this name to Sim2. All right, give it a description. Tutorial video simulation. All right, its length is by default 24. Let's bring that back. Let's just make it 6 hours. Okay, you can see the timeline. All right, so now that we have the simulation, let's add some tasks at various times. So let's say within, what is this, 30 minutes? So this is probably 10 minutes. Yeah, all right, and then this can be adjusted however you need. You can move that way over here, move it all the way back here. All right, let's put that on 10 minutes. Let's say you have 1 hour. What is that, 1 hour? 1 hour? 1 hour and 10 minutes? So you have 1 hour. Let's get that exactly. 3,600, I think, is an hour. You have 1 hour to complete this task. If you don't complete it within an hour, it'll fail. All right, so let's make the task. All right, move object. Let's move. All right, so our cube 3 isn't here, and there's a reason for that. That's I'm actually going to go over that after I run you through all these little things. Let's just call this task move cube. And cube is the other little cube that's on the kitchen counter, not the big one that we made. All right, and we want to move it to, like I said, coffee table. Sounds good. All right, so let's save this. Yeah, never be too careful. I always try to like save every little thing. All right, let's go back here. And then one thing you'll notice is that these names, remember when I said don't worry about these task drop downs over here? All right, well, this is where you have to worry about them, right? They have to match. So if you have an object that's supposed to correspond to something in a task, you have to make sure that it knows that it's that thing, right? So you click on this cube. That's not it. Did I call it task object? All right. Well, I called it task object, but as you see, like for a moving type task, it's known as a cube. And since it doesn't have energy usage, I don't worry about its type for turning on and off because it's just not possible. All right, hit apply anyway. All right, so my job is to move it to the coffee table, and I'm going to write that here. Description: move cube to coffee table. I have 1 hour to do that. All right, so yeah. All right, and the only way this is actually going to work is if we start the simulation from the main menu. And there's a reason for that. It's that when you hit play on the main, when you hit this begin simulation button, that's what actually looks at this database of information and transfers it to the actual simulation. So let's just go ahead and hit play and then hit begin. All right, let's see what happens. So at around 10 minutes, I should see this task pop up. There it is. Move the cube. All right, let me hurry up and do that before an hour runs out. All right, grab this cube. Drop it here. Task completed. Move cube. Fantastic. All right. All right, so I think this is a good segue into the development and code part of this tutorial. All right, so you remember in the last part where we assigned the cube to be moved to the coffee table. Well, now we want to do it with our newly made microwave. So you're probably thinking, how do we add that to this list? All right, well, I'll show you. This is where we jump into the code. And it's not very complicated. It's going to be really quick. All you got to do is open up the scripts folder here. Right? Go into managers, and it's a script called Simulation Manager. Open it up. Let's let MonoDevelop open. I use MonoDevelop. If you're on Windows, you might be using Visual Studio. Okay, so we want to scroll all the way down to the bottom. That's where I put it. All right, so we have task object move. That means it's an object that can be moved for a task. Task object turn on off. That means it's a task object that can be turned on or off for a task. And then a drop zone, which is basically a location where you want to be able to put an object down that you're moving. Okay, so this is an object that we're going to move. So we add it to this list, put a comma, enter, and you always want to add it to the bottom of the list. All right, if you add it anywhere above any one of these already made things, I'll actually show you. Say I put it here, call it test. I'm going to save that. Now a lot of things are going to get messed up. All right, so let's let that compile. Compiling, and okay. Oop, whoa. I just accidentally created a new task. Actually, I'm in the complete wrong simulation. Okay, sim 2. Okay, and now you see, hey, that's weird. It said cube, and now it says test. Now, why the heck did that happen? All right, so they're called enums, and they should not be messed with. The order that they start with is important, and if anything ever moves out of place, like I just added test where cube used to be, what this remembers is that its value was not cube, it remembers that its value was the third item in the list. So that's why we don't want to mess with the order of the lists. All right, so I'm just going to delete that again. And so now we're going to add to the bottom this thing called microwave. All right, and the only other thing we need to do then, let's let that recompile and go to the scene in the meantime. Oh wait, okay, open scene, simulation. So now we can actually go to this microwave. That's actually called cube 3. Let me just name it microwave, just for fun. All right. What we want to do is go to, we want to have to move it, so take its move object type, and now we have microwave available here. Save that, apply, jump back to the timeline, simulation 2. This, and now we can select microwave to be moved, and now we have to move the microwave. Save that, save scene, project, main menu, play, and begin. And you'll notice one thing in a second. It says move cube. That's because the name of the task and the description we're still that, and you'll see that if I actually try to move the cube to the coffee table, it's not going to work because the requirement is the task is about to fail. Oh, just out of time. All right, let's try it again. This time we're just going to go straight for the microwave. Here, grab it. There we go. Let's go to the coffee table. Bam. There we go. All right, and that's all you need to do to assign new items into the lists. Just always remember to go to the object itself. Oops, it's game view. Always remember to go to the object itself and assign what it needs to be. So if the task were to turn off the microwave or turn on the microwave, you would also want this to be, you would also add microwave to this list, and then you would set that there. At least building it. That pretty much covers all you need to know to start designing the simulation, adding objects, adding tasks, adding template simulations with those tasks. So go ahead and start doing that. Thank you very much.